On August 21, 1915, the Conklin family departed Huntington, New York on a cross-country camping trip in a vehicle called the Gypsy van. Visually arresting and cleverly designed, the 25-foot, 8-ton conveyance had been custom-built by Roland Conklin's gas-electric motor bus company to provide a maximum of comfort while roughing it on the road to San Francisco. The New York Times gushed that had the commander of the faithful order the gins to produce out of thin air a vehicle which should have the power of motion and yet be a dwelling place fit for a caliph. The result would have fallen far short of the actual house upon wheels which left New York. For the next 2 months, the Conklins and the Gypsy van were observed and admired by thousands along their westward route, ultimately becoming the subjects of nationwide coverage in the media of the day. Luxuriously equipped with an electrical generator and incandescent lighting, a full kitchen, Pullman-style sleeping berths, a folding table and desk, a concealed bookcase, a phonograph, convertible sofas with throw pillows, a variety of small appliances, and even a roof garden, this transport was a marvel of technology and chutzpah. For many Americans, the Conklins Gypsy van was their introduction to recreational vehicles, or simply, RVs. Ubiquitous today, our streamlined motorhomes and camping trailers alike can trace their origins to the time between 1915 and 1930, when Americans urged to relax by roughing it, and their desire for a host of modern comforts first aligned with a motor camping industry that had the capacity to deliver both. The Conklins did not become famous simply because they were camping their way to California. Camping for fun was not novel in 1915, it had been around since 1869, when William H. Murray published his wildly successful Adventures in the Wilderness, or Camp Life in the Adirondacks, America's first how-to-camp guidebook. Ever since Murray, camping literature has emphasized the idea that one can find relief from the noise, smoke, crowds, and regulations that make urban life tiresome and alienating by making a pilgrimage to nature. All one needed to do was head out of town, camp in a natural place for a while, and then return home restored in spirit, health and sense of belonging. While in the wild, a camper, like any other pilgrim, had to undergo challenges not found at home, which is why camping has long been called roughing it. Challenges were necessary because, since Murray's day, camping has been a recapitulation of the pioneer experience on the pre-modern frontier where the individual and family were central and the American nation was born. Camping's popularity grew slowly, but got more sophisticated when John B. Bachelder offered alternatives to Murray's vision of traveling around the Adirondacks by canoe in his 1875 book Popular Resorts and How to Reach Them. Bachelder identified 3 modes of camping: on foot, what we call backpacking; on horseback, which allowed for more gear and supplies; and with a horse and wagon. This last was most convenient, allowing for the inclusion of more gear and supplies as well as campers who were unprepared for the rigors of the other 2 modes. However, horse and wagon camping was also the most costly and geographically limited because of the era's poor roads. In short order, Americans across the country embraced all 3 manners of camping, but their total number remained relatively small because only the upper middle classes had several weeks vacation time and the money to afford a horse and wagon. Over the next 30 years, camping slowly modernized. In a paradoxical twist, this anti-modern, back-to-nature activity has long been technologically sophisticated. As far back as the 1870s, when a new piece of camping gear appeared, it was often produced with recently developed materials or manufacturing techniques to improve comfort and convenience. Camping enthusiasts, promoters, and manufacturers tended to emphasize the positive consequences of roughing it, but, they added, one didn't have to suffer through every discomfort to have an authentic and satisfying experience. Instead, a camper could smooth some particularly distressing roughness by using a piece of gear that provided enhanced reliability, reduced bulk, and dependable outcomes. Around 1910, the pace of camping's modernization increased when inexpensive automobiles began appearing. With incomes rising, car sales exploded. At the same time, vacations became more widespread, soon Bachelder's horses became motor vehicles, and all the middle classes started to embrace camping. The first RV was hand-built onto an automobile in 1904. This proto-motorhome slept 4 adults on bunks, was lit by incandescent lights and included an icebox and a radio. Over the course of the next decade, well-off tinkerers continued to adapt a variety of automobiles and truck chassis to create even more spacious and comfortable vehicles, but a bridge was crossed in 1915 when Roland and Mary Conklin launched their Gypsy van. Unlike their predecessors, the wealthy Conklins modified a bus into a fully furnished, double-deck motorhome. The New York Times, which published several articles about the Conklins, was not sure what to make of their vehicle, suggesting that it was a sublimated English caravan, land yacht, or what you will, but they were certain that it had all the conveniences of a country house, plus the advantages of unrestricted mobility and independence of schedule. The family's journey was so widely publicized that their invention became the general template for generations of motorhomes. The appeal of motorhomes like the Conklins was simple and clear for any camper who sought to smooth some roughness. A car camper had to erect a tent, prepare bedding, unpack clothes, and establish a kitchen and dining area, which could take hours. The motorhome camper could avoid much of this effort. According to one 1920s observer, a motorhome enthusiast simply let down the back steps and the thing was done. Departure was just as simple. By the middle of the 1920s, many Americans of somewhat more average means were tinkering together motorhomes, many along the lines made popular by the Conklins, and with the economy booming, several automobile and truck manufacturers also offered a limited number of fully complete motorhomes, including REO Speedwagon Bungalow and Hudson Essex's Pullman coach. In spite of their comforts, motorhomes had two distinct limitations, which ultimately led to the creation of the RV's understudy, the trailer. A camper could not disconnect the house portion and drive the automobile part alone. The Conklins had carried a motorcycle. In addition, many motorhomes were large and limited to traveling only on automobile-friendly roads, making wilder landscapes unreachable. As a consequence of these limitations and their relatively high cost, motorhomes remained a marginal choice among RV campers until the 1960s. Trailers, by contrast, became the choice of people of average means. The earliest auto camping trailers appeared during the early 1910s, but they were Spartan affairs, a plain device for carrying tents, sleeping bags, coolers, and other camping equipment. Soon, motivated tinkerers began to attach tent canvas on a collapsible frame, adding cots for sleeping and cupboards for cooking equipment and creating the first tent trailers. By mid-decade, it was possible to purchase a fully equipped, manufactured one. In 1923's Motor Camping, J.C. Long and John D. Long declared that urban Americans were possessed of the desire to be somewhere else, and the solution was evident: trailer camping. Tent trailering also charmed campers because of its convenience and ease. Your camping trip will be made doubly enjoyable by using a Brindle convertible camping trailer, blared an advertisement by the Los Angeles Trailer Company. Today's 34-foot Class A motorhome with multiple TVs, 2 bathrooms, and a king bed is a version of the Conklins' Gypsy van, and fifth-wheel toy haulers with pop-outs are the descendants of Arthur Sherman's covered wagon, and these, in turn, are modernized versions of Bachelder's horse and wagon camping. If you enjoyed this video, kindly press the like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe with notifications on, so that you don't miss out on videos like this. Thank you for watching.